right. Citizens participation, agenda item 8.0. Lexington County School District 1's Board of Trustees solicits the advice and counsel of its citizens. To encourage this participation, the board provides a citizens participation period during each of its regularly monthly board meetings. In order to speak, you must be the parent or legal guardian of a student currently attending a Lexington District 1 school, a taxpayer residing in the Lexington District 1 attendance area, an employee of the district, or a student currently attending a Lexington District 1 school. You may comment on agenda items, school operations, policies, programs, or other matters. You may not speak about specific individuals, whether students or staff. We want to remind you that this meeting is being live streamed and that the recording of this meeting will be part of the public record in perpetuity. We want to give everyone who came tonight an opportunity to speak, and in order to do that, I will call on each speaker by name and ask you to approach the lectern at the back of the room. The board will not reply to your remarks nor take any action during the board meeting in response to your comments or questions. You may address the board for up to 3 minutes. Please do not clap or make any comments, either while an individual speaks or after he or she finishes. As you came in tonight, you received a card to fill out to indicate if you wanted to speak. That card asks for your name, address, and other information. However, we will read out only your name, the town you reside in, and the name of the schools your children attend when it is your turn to speak. If you did not fill out a card but wish to speak, please hold up your hand and someone from the communications office will provide you with a card. My glasses are fogged up, so I can't really see. Anybody raising their hand? Anyone who is uncomfortable addressing the board in person may reach out to the board by email, telephone, or mail, and our contact information is available on the Lexington One website. We welcome all messages. All right. I think we have 3 cards this evening. First will be Debbie Heim. And Debbie wants to talk about board decisions and the communication with the community. She is the parent of a student at Lexington High School. Go right ahead.
Hi, thank you, board. I just wanted to say thank you so much. I appreciate, last month was my first time coming to a board meeting, and I appreciate several of you reaching out to respond back to the concerns about getting especially high school students back in school 5 days a week, face-to-face. We made great progress with 4 days. I'm still requesting 5 days. I know we're getting there with middle school and elementary after spring break, and we're all looking forward to that. I did want to clarify in the minutes from the last public meeting, it was not a Charleston study, it was a Medical University of South Carolina study about the Charleston School District that showed that there were no known student to teacher transmissions of COVID at all in the entire district, one of our largest in our state. No known transmissions of student of any age, including high school, to any adult staff at all. I think that's a very important point, especially as we request being back Fridays also. It's important that our children are in school. That's what this entire board is for. I guess just a side note, I found it interesting how little academics are discussed in this meeting. Maybe that was a fluke, we'll find out, but that's what the kids are there for. I do just want to note that the board is elected by our community. The accountability is through elections, but the decisions are to be made by the board. And when I look online to try to find how these decisions are made, for example, with all the COVID stuff, I'm having a hard time finding that. Maybe I'm not seeing it. I really appreciated over the summer when there were the videos that were done. I know Dr. Little did videos. That was very informative. There was one where the public was able to submit questions in advance. That's lovely. My question was not answered at all during that time or during the Q&A. One thing that might be very helpful, one thing that I'm requesting from the board is that we have more communication with the community. All the time, but especially when we have issues like COVID. Maybe kind of like a question and answer session or a town hall, but something so that the community can come. As I speak with other parents in this district, maybe they feel like it's maybe confrontational to come and approach here, and because you can't communicate back with me here, I can't ask you something and you can't answer it in this format. We really need to do something like that, perhaps once a season during the school year, 3 times a year, but something where the community can come and ask questions of the board. I talked to throughout all of the high school areas, Pelion, Gilbert, Lexington, Whitnall, all of that. I know administrators, teachers, students, parents, counselors at all of these places, and I ask them, what's going on? When do the kids go back? What's going on? And you know what they say? We don't know, we don't know, we don't know. And so we need to get back. We need to get back all the way, and I need the board to communicate clearly how these decisions are made and be accessible to the public. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Heim. All right, and next we have Matt Heim, and he indicated he really wasn't sure yet what he was going to speak about. And he is also the parent of a student at Lexington High School.
Yeah, I wasn't sure when my wife's 3 minutes would end, so yeah, I say thanks too. I do appreciate it. You know, it was really nice to see how quickly all of that happened, which also leads me to know that this board actually works and does things. So I think that's refreshing, and I do appreciate that. Parroting the same issues though, I talked to people. Some people even commented how surprised they were about how quickly we went back, and they needed things like cafeteria staff and bus drivers and those sorts of things. So I think that was surprising for everyone. What I'm really looking for is a plan going forward. I don't know, 5 years, 10 years, next week, 2 months, just kind of what the plan to get back to normal is. You know, obviously you're looking forward, we're looking forward. Let's figure it out. Keep us posted, keep us informed. That's really what we're asking for. Also, it's interesting how elected officials work, especially here with a volunteer school board position. As far as I can tell, this is an uncompensated position. So I would expect people who run for these positions are interested in the school district and making changes that are positive and good for the community and keeping it going forward. I grew up in a town called Boulder, Colorado. My dad was raised there. My grandfather was a dean at the university there. And I can't live in that town anymore because it changed. It changed wildly. In fact, everybody from high school that I went to doesn't live there. They live in the neighboring towns and the other places. And there's a phrase there, it's meeting someone who grew up in Boulder is like finding a unicorn. And I think that's very interesting just how that is. And most of the people I know in this community are transplants. This community is changing too, a lot, which is interesting. So it's gonna be interesting to see how things go forward too with the schools. One of the things that attracts people to this area, quite honestly, from all corners, the Northeast, the South, the West, the Midwest, is the schools. They say, what's the best school district in South Carolina? That's where we want to raise our kids. You know what always shows up? This school district. It needs to stay really good if you want the growth, if you want people being here, if you want people admiring what we have, okay? And that rests on the board. I see 7 people here. Voting records aren't that hard to look up. There's a lot of homogeneous here with these voting records. I don't know if that's good or bad, I really don't. But I'm starting to pay attention and watch, and I guess time will tell where all this is gonna land. But it's just something to keep in mind. I talked to a lot of people too. I'm not sure they'll make it here, but they are paying attention and they talk to people. And circles interact, collide, and word spreads. So anyway, I appreciate the work that you do and look forward to the future. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Heim. All right, next we have Chelsea Snellgrove. And Chelsea is here to talk about, excuse me, Ms. Nelgrove, is here to talk about the environment. And she is a parent of a student at Red Bank Elementary.
I'd like to say welcome to the Heims, and I second a lot of what y'all said, and I feel what y'all said, and I appreciate y'all having the courage to come up here and speak. It's hard to come up here and speak. But I'm here today to encourage district leaders to take action on climate change. I'm not here to repeat the dire existential threats predicted by climate scientists if we fail to act. I'm sure you've all heard it before. But I am here to kindly ask you to take your heads out of the mud and show some cojones and take some action. As the leader or the autocrat of our public institution during this time of tremendous local population growth, Dr. Little, our kids need you to think big as you strategically plan for a brighter future. Not just for 3 years from now, but for 300 years from now. I beg you to take more interest in environmental sustainability. Use some of that conference coin to network with other school leadership teams dedicated to solving the problem. Right now, school districts across the country are committing to finding practical solutions that reduce environmental impact. Why does Lexington 1 have such apathy? I don't think you truly realize the power or duty you have to make a difference. For starters, we should brainstorm ways to deliver efficient renewable energy to our schools. I saw an interesting segment on CBS News just this morning. In 2017, the Batesville School District in Arkansas implemented a solar panel program and installed nearly 1,500 panels on unused land in the top school canopies. The district immediately saved over $600,000 in utility costs. The panels also produced additional electricity that the district then sold back to the grid, which turned the district's over $250,000 budget deficit into a $1.8 million surplus. For the past 2 years, Batesville School District has given its teachers bonuses, adding as much as $15,000 to each teacher's salary. Even if you don't believe in climate change, I'm sure you believe in money. Renewable energy isn't just about the green of the earth, it's also about the green of your wallet. The bottom line is, it's damn near impossible to get a kid motivated to ace a test when he is feeling the weight of the world crumbling. Please act. Thank you.
Ms. Nelgrove, thank you so much for speaking tonight and also for your consistent voice on environmental issues. Thank you very much.